Bank of Nigeria has been given the go-ahead to faithfully implement the new Naira notes policy as planned without fear or favor. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave this assurance while granting audience to the governor of the nation's apex bank in Daura, also asked him to not be bothered about public criticism. State House correspondent Adam Osambo has the details.
The redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes denomination were formally unveiled by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 23rd of last month. At the event, the president declared that the need to take control of the nation's currency in circulation and address the hoarding of the Naira bank notes outside the banking system was urgent. But how far so far? This was why the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, came calling at the Daura residence of President Muhammadu Buhari.
I'm visiting Daura to assure the president that things are going on well about the currency, as well as issues bordering on the cashless policy that we recently introduced.
So how did the president respond to your presentation?
Very, very happy. And he says we should carry on our work. No need to fear. No need to bother about anybody.
Without doubt, some people are bothered, especially with the cashless policy, as the House of Representatives in particular made a strong case for the suspension of the cash withdrawal limit. Mr. Emefiele said the CBN is not unmindful of the concerns raised by the National Assembly and is prepared to respond appropriately. He, however, explained that adequate electronic channels have been put in place to aid the conduct of banking and financial service transactions by those in need across Nigeria seamlessly.
This is not targeted at anybody. It is just meant for the good and the development of the Nigerian economy. And we can only just continue to appeal to Nigerians to please see this policy the way we have presented it. We will be reviewing from time to say that we will change timing, but whether it is about tweaking some amounts to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower and all the rest of them, we will do so because we are humans. We want to make sure that we make life good for our people. So there's no need for anybody to worry. The central bank is monitoring what is happening, and I can assure everyone that we're alive to our responsibilities and we'll do what is right for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Mr. Emefiele emphasized that the prevailing situation in the country, where over 85% of the cash in circulation is outside the banking system, cannot be allowed to continue. Already, he explained, there are more than 1.4 million registered super agents across the country where people can conduct banking services.
Yesterday, the banks have received the new cash and they have started dispensing them. I can only just assure everyone that it will go round. The letter just become both the painted and unpainted currency will operate concurrently as legal tender. But by January 31, the unpainted one will not be useful to you again. So please take it to your banks as quickly as possible.
So how much have you been able to get back into the banking system at the moment?
I mean, we at the central bank, we have taken close to more than $500 billion, and with the banks, we also have close to about $500 billion.
He said Nigeria, as the largest economy in Africa, need to leapfrog into the cashless economy. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo at the second National Summit of Persons with Disabilities appeals to Nigerians to support federal government's policy on disability inclusion. Ngufan Shaji Ugwanyi reports.
We all must support this summit, the inclusion of disability in religious and traditional leadership. It is on that note that I find it a very great honor on behalf of His Excellency the Vice President to declare this National Summit on Disability 2022 open.
Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Sahad Abubakar, and the President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Bishop Daniel Oko, reaffirmed their commitment and availability to work with the Commission to actualize inclusive society for persons with disabilities.
This all-important summit on disability inclusion shines a light on the indispensable roles of religious and traditional institutions in Nigeria in advocating for a just and inclusive society devoid of all forms of barriers and discriminations against persons with disabilities.
For us, it is very important. For time immemorial, been living, working, taking care of such groups of people in our domain. Our partnership with the religious institution today is something that we feel that is expected to provide us the necessary result, because as we push for disability inclusion in education, our religious institutions as well as our prayer houses.
Lalu says the Commission remains committed to taking persons with disabilities out of all challenges such as neglect and abandonment. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, Ugwanyi, NTA News.
As Nigeria leverages lessons from COVID-19 pandemic in line with the new health order, the Minister of Health, Dr. Sagie Hanire, says building resilience in the health sector through collaborative efforts of state and non-state actors will drive the attainment of universal health coverage by 2030. Elizabeth Omori reports that this was at the 2022 National Council on Health meeting, where recommendations were made on how to bridge gaps in the health sector.
Primary health care, a grassroots platform for accessing healthcare services since the emergence of COVID-19, has been grappling with several challenges affecting health outcomes. Addressing the prevailing realities in the health sector informed this meeting to interrogate gaps in primary health care.
We need a new public health order that is resilient, adaptable, and ready to cope with any disease threat.
We have made a recommendation of at least 2% of consolidated revenue fund to be set aside as national basic healthcare provision fund.
Presentations by experts focused on local vaccines manufacturing, emergency medical services, partnerships, brain drain, health investment, among others. They also recommend public-private partnership, provision of infrastructure, political commitments by state and local governments, as well as investment in the sector to attain universal health coverage. Highlight of the 63rd National Council on Health meeting is the declaration of 8th of December as the National Blood Donor Day.
Whether you are a Muslim or Christian, you need blood. Therefore, I will expect that every state, Ministry of Health and individuals should key into this, because it is an awareness creation to make sure that blood is available to all that needs it.
The annual event will promote advocacy on safe and quality blood. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
A resolution that will see to the end of fuel scarcity in the country within the next 48 hours has been sealed at a meeting between the Department of State Services and the stakeholders in the oil and gas industry. Francis Form reports that the spokesperson of the DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, who read the resolutions of the meeting, said NNPC Limited assured that there's 1.1 billion litres of petrol that will last beyond the Yuletide in stock.
NNPC agreed and resolved that moving forward they will sell the products at an official ex-depot price to all marketers. On the side of the DSS, we agreed where need be to provide security to ensure seamless distribution. But overall, the stakeholder meeting resolved, and we are insistent on such resolution that the fuel distribution system must improve, or the challenges must be completely eliminated in the next 48 hours.
The commitment is to take effect within 48 hours. So we're hoping that with the efficiency in supply and distribution, both by marine and by trucking, that in the next 48 hours, the commitments will really start. And that will hopefully will be seeing a positive environment away from the kind of difficult situation that we're experiencing across the nation.
To agricultural matters now. To boost rice production, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has distributed inputs to smallholder rice farmers in the central zone of the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mahmoud Abubakar, in a message to the event in Jos, says the intervention is to discourage importation of food items into the country and boost local production. Elizabeth Kai Andrew reports.
The beneficiaries were drawn from Plateau, Kwara, Kogi, Benue and Nasarawa states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory. Each got a 25 kilogram of certified rice seeds of Faro 44 variety, 3 liters of 2,4-D post-emergence herbicides, and 2 liters of organic foliar fertilizer.
As a farmer, this is a moral booster.
I have been looking for this Faro 44, but I didn't get it, so I'm among the lucky ones that will have it this time around.
The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mahmoud Abubakar, represented, says the distribution is in line with the federal government's agenda in ensuring food sufficiency in the country. The ministry, he said, is encouraging cultivation and empowerment of youths through value chain from seed production, nursery bed preparations to last farm operations in the field.
To ensure that if we go into production, we certify them. And that's why government is coming up with strategies to ensure that whatever farmers need in terms of production, government try to produce and to support them.
We should start thinking of how we will grow what we will produce and be able to sustain.
We need a price control agency in Nigeria. I make only the 20% profit in what I produce. The person processing my rice makes over 80% profit in same rice I produce as a farmer. All is because there is no price control.
Beneficiaries were engaged on good agricultural practices as well as effective use of agrochemicals in rice production for them to step down to rice farmers in their various states. In Jos, Elizabeth Pai Andrew, NTA News.
Owing to the huge losses recently recorded by potato farmers due to potato blight, Plateau State Potato Value Chain is training farmers and producers on good agricultural practices as part of efforts to avert losses. Sadat Mohammed Kafa reports that more than 500 farmers from across the state are benefiting from the training.
Findings show that Nigeria is the 4th largest producer of potato in sub-Saharan Africa, producing more than 1 million metric tons annually, with Plateau State leading. Production this year has left farmers at a loss due to potato disease, thereby affecting consumers due to the rise in price. This necessitated the need for the state government to train farmers on good agricultural practices, ranging from potato production techniques, good seedlings, land preparation to packaging and storage.
We have called them here to rope minds and to give them new technologies and new trends in potato production and the management of diseases, and probably in marketing.
Training these farmers on appropriate production techniques and positive seed selection, the research officer, National Root Crop Research Institute VOM, Shaibu Kaya, represented, notes that appropriate manure of fertilizer as well as positive selection are essential for good harvest, especially as farmers go into dry season farming.
Only thing for farmers to able to succeed is by following the procedure we give as technicians, so that they will follow the procedure in application of this fungicide accordingly. The spraying regime must be followed judiciously.
Participants say the training is an eye-opener and will ensure they put in what they have learned into practice for bumper harvest in the period ahead.
We have let to understand that the way we apply it is not good. We should use the current method.
Before,
we'll bring it home before we select the seed. But now they taught us how to select the seeds from the farm before bringing it home.
The farmers are drawn from the 3 senatorial zones of the state. In Jos, Saadat Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
Issues of gender-based violence have continued to be on the front burner as efforts are being intensified by stakeholders to tackle cases of human rights abuses. Women for Women International Nigeria is one of the organizations working towards elimination of violence against women. Saadat Muhammad Kafa again reports.
Statistics reveal that 1 in every 5 women faces sexual or physical violence. With this year's theme, Unite Activism to End Violence Against Women and Girls, here are stakeholders from civil society organizations, NGOs, and government agencies who are united in one voice to discuss, come up with ideas, as well as profile ways towards reducing violence meted against women and girls. The country director of Women for Women International represented says there is need for stakeholders to come together and lend their voices in their various fields of endeavor to fight against gender-based violence.
When we unite as a group, let's have a holistic strategy to put an end to this.
Key players unanimously agree that with adequate awareness and advocacies, more cases of violence against women are now being reported, especially within Plateau State.
This year alone, I said over 700 cases of various human rights violations have been reported to the National Human Rights Commission in Plateau State. And out of this 702 cases of various violations of human rights, we have 322 which have to do with women alone, and then we have 300 and another 22 that has to do with children.
The reason why year in, year out we keep doing this awareness sensitization is to try and break that culture of silence. It's try to make people understand that, look, you don't suffer such and keep quiet.
We are the ones that know where to find the law to fight this.
This year's 16 days of activism, which began on the 25th November, ends on 10th December 2022, which coincides with World Human Rights Day in Jos. Saadat Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
We have in the studio Pwalu Riyawa, Chief Investigation Officer, National Human Rights Commission, Plateau State, to discuss more on efforts at tackling human rights abuses on the plateau. You're welcome to Panorama.
Very much.
Okay, so ma'am, you have been engaging stakeholders on the 16 days of activism. Can you shed more light on that?
Over the past 16 days, the Commission has been able to meet with various stakeholders, the CJ of Plateau State, the Chief Judge of Plateau State, the Speaker, House of Assembly, the leadership of Equa Church, JNI, to do a follow-up on meetings that we had in our earlier campaigns to see where we are, what we need to do, and how we can further collaborate. We've also had 2 meetings on the November the 30th and December the 2nd with other stakeholders, governmental and non-governmental agencies, to educate and re-educate ourselves on available gender protection laws, such as the Gender and Equal Opportunity Law here in Plateau State and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, to effectively combat, to equip ourselves to effectively combat gender-based violence going forward. So it has been productive so far.
Okay, so these human rights abuses and issues, they're not new. How do you think we can find permanent solutions to such issues?
The theme for this year's campaign is Unite, Activism to End Violence Against Women and Girls. If everyone is responsible for his neighbor, if you see something, say something. If you're able to expose perpetrators, if we're able to train our children from home, I think we'll go a long way. At our schools also. And just be more aware of what gender-based violence is and speak against it, stand against it.
Okay, so going forward, how do you think stakeholders can come together and curb violence against women and girls particularly?
Right now, the commission is in partnership with various people who provide different services. For example, there's law enforcement, there's a shelter. If these networks are able to be strengthened, I think going forward we'll have more productive results.
Okay, so as a gender activist or a human rights activist, what's your message, finally?
If you see something, say something. Let's be our brother's keepers.
All right. Thank you so much, Duriawa, for finding time to be with us on Panorama. All right. Now, Panorama continues after this break. Do stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, for what's left of the news, let's join our sports desk for the latest in the world of sports. Thanks for staying with us. Now, for what's left of the news, let's join.